and it got ate by the back of her car. Conversation that we were talking about is, then I got off on this tangent where I was watching these, basically these weird videos like burnout videos. I got on a kick for a while where I was watching the Australian guys, which they have, I don't know what they do to their motors down in Australia, but they have like literally burnout competitions. And they run this motor literally like one competition. They have to completely tear it down. It's literally like they take a top fuel dragster motor basically, and they shove it in like their obscure version of our like Ford Tempo or whatever it is, like a little small car, have big meats in the back of it. And they'll do these burnouts like for days. And it's just these guys whipping around in circles doing burnouts. Right. And they're like blown and nitrous injected. And they're like, I don't know what kind of horsepower, like thousands of horsepower in these cars. Well, the YouTube rabbit hole got me. Or whatever. Man,
so that's it always gets you.
Next thing you know, you're watching, giraffe mating rituals or whatever.
Whoa, hey, so that escalated quickly.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. But I somehow, I don't think it was on YouTube, but maybe I Googled it or something because I was trying to find these like a burnout video. And I'm pretty sure if you can find it somewhere, which is probably going to be very obscure because, this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. This is way down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? What shows these guys, and I'm pretty sure it's in South Africa somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they're doing these burnouts. Well, majority of the cars are like the BMW 3 Series or whatever, but they're like some carcass they found alongside the road.
They are. Diane Word has a video. It's Babies on Fire or something like that. And that's like this thing, and they're like doing like the big donut or whatever.
Yeah,
and like a multicolored BMW because the door doesn't match and the wheels are all mismatched. And
it
stuff
must have been South African then, because that's exactly what this says. It looks like they found the carcass of like a BMW 3 Series,
right? Yeah.
And and then stuff like a whatever motor that they found, 2JZ or some whatever that they found and something else in it. Definitely doesn't match. And on top of all that, they have stripped this car clean. So it's literally like they have a roll cage in it. Safety first. I'm glad they actually, I'm sure it was probably made out of like some random, swing set pipe or something.
Right.
But they did put like a roll cage in there.
Plumbing.
If nothing else, it looked really cool because it looked like it had a roll cage in it, whether it was functional and tied to the frame and everything it's supposed to do. Not sure. But they also took all the windows out of it. So I don't know if they were like trying to go for the full race mode where it was like, whatever. But this car like didn't have a windshield. It didn't have a back windshield. It had no side windows. The interior was completely stripped out of it. And you show it running around a little bit. You kind of get a glimpse of the inside. The reason why I can tell is it's stripped out. It's literally like bare metal on the inside. And it's like they even got rid of the dash. So it's literally like some gauge cluster strapped to it's like duct tape to the, to the steering wheel or the steering column or whatever. So, because you don't need all that unnecessary stuff, right?
No.
So they get rid of all that stuff. And it's literally like an RPM, it's like a tachometer. It's like they don't care about the speed even. They just have like a tachometer, 100-mile-an-hour tape to the, to the freaking, steering column. So I can't remember. I want to say it may even have been like a female that was driving it, but gets in it and is like they're in it. I think it cuts away from that one. It shows a bunch of different cars. There's like some kind of something that looks like their version of like a Mitsubishi Eclipse, or not a Mitsubishi Eclipse, but or it looks like a Subaru, like the WRX STIs, or
I want to say Lancer.
Lancer Evos. That was the hotness or whatever, or the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. It looks like their version of kind of like a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. And they're doing donuts in this like large parking lot area. Well, then it cuts back to the driver in the BMW that has no windows or whatever. Well, much like the United States, not to talk bad about South Africa, but much like the United States, they had a large crowd and people were running up to these cars and they were like trying to film them, to get likes on Instagram or, whatever, TikTok.
It's for the gram.
It's for the gram, right? And they're running up and they're trying to film, and you can see them like bending down. So they're trying to get angles of like watching the back tires, spin. And but the crowds are like really encroaching on these cars. Like I feel like the crowds like keep getting closer and closer.
That's intelligent.
And then you have like the random dude that's definitely down for the gram. That's like literally running out and like standing in front of the car.
Oh no.
Trying to take, a video of the car coming at him or whatever it is.
Right. Maybe he's going to film school.
Maybe he's going to film school. Well, you can see all these random people running out there, and it's getting to the point to where they're literally having like near misses, where these cars, the back ends are like whipping around, and these guys are like running out and they're trying to, take videos of the flames shooting out of the, the exhaust in the back of it or whatever. So the guy's like laying down, in the bumper, like goes, inches from his face or whatever.
No, thank you.
So this guy runs out and he's like, you can tell he's like kind of filming or whatever. Well, at the last minute, I don't know what, again, Joe Snuffy, was yelling at him or something. He turns to look, the car runs around and the guy disappears. He basically goes butt first in the back passenger window and like disappears inside the car. And it looked like the car window like ate him. You got to see the video. My description, it's way funnier when you see it. It was like one of those ones that I had to watch like 18 times or whatever.
Right.
The first 10 times is just to figure out what happened to the guy. Like, cause he just disappears and the car keeps spinning around. And then next thing you know, it kind of like goes off frame or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, what happened to Joe Snuffy or whatever?
Happened?
He like disappeared. Well, then you watch it another time and you realize that when he turns around, it literally, the car's, half an inch off the ground. Like it had an air, it had like the body kit and all that kind of stuff, but it was like slammed so low to the ground. And then it had like, four different size tires on it. Because again, no offense, it's South Africa, whatever. And they were all, two of them looked like they were the 50 mile an hour spares that you're not supposed to be driving on for more than, 50 miles an hour or whatever. And so when I actually watched it for like the, 10th time to figure out what had happened, he'd turn around and this thing, basically the bottom window of the door, had hit him right at the top of the thighs. And his ass went into the back window and it like folded him up and he went in and just disappeared. And I'm sure the girl driving was like, didn't even know what happened. It's all smoking and like whatever. She probably, burned out. She went over there and got ready to get out and, high five her homies or whatever. And, Joe Snuffy's literally laying between the bars in the back of the car and it got ate by the back of her car. So you just got to watch it. I can't describe it. It's way funnier if you watch it.
I'll have to see if I can find